Hello, I'm Lara Kulcharsan and this is Newsfeed, your dose of what people are talking about online. It's a case that Meta boss Mark Zuckerberg had long tried to sidestep, and one that threatens his $1.3 trillion empire. Zuckerberg is accused of monopolizing the social media landscape and stifling competition by buying Instagram and WhatsApp. The OG tech bro has appeared before President Donald Trump's Federal Trade Commission this week.
FTC antitrust case against Meta just kicked off. They're pushing to break up the social media empire, specifically Instagram and WhatsApp. Why? They claim that Meta, back when it was just Facebook, bought both platforms not to innovate, but to eliminate competition. The $1 billion Instagram deal in 2012 and the $22 billion WhatsApp deal in 2014. Doesn't that seem backwards, by the way? Instagram seems like it would be the $22 billion, but it's not. According to the FTC, these weren't just smart investments, they were power moves to protect Facebook's monopoly on social networking. Internal emails from Zuck said it's better to buy than to compete, and those kind of emails are being used in court. The FTC says that this consolidation gave Meta the power to offer worse privacy protections and to jack up ad prices. You think? They also say it scared off smaller players from even trying to compete in this space. If the judge sides with the FTC, Meta could be forced to spin off Instagram and WhatsApp into separate companies. Mark Zuckerberg is reportedly in talks with the Trump White House team to try to cut a deal. The trial's could last up to 37 days, but the appeals could take years.
In his testimony before the commission, Zuckerberg has argued that Meta is not monopolizing the social media landscape. He says Chinese-owned TikTok, Elon Musk's X, and Google's YouTube offer formidable competition. Apart from Zuckerberg, former Facebook Chief Operating Officer Sheryl Sandberg and Instagram co-founder Kevin Systrom are also expected to appear before the commission. New research has revealed something deeply disturbing about the gaming platform Roblox. British-based Revealing Reality, an independent insight and innovation agency, has shown just how easy it is to kids come across inappropriate content or interact with strangers. The researchers created multiple Roblox accounts using different age registrations. On the adult accounts, they verified a phone number to gain access to voice chat features. Dominic takes a closer look at the findings.
Setting up these accounts incredibly easy. Researchers were able to create accounts as if they were children and under that guise freely explore Roblox. Minors can create accounts and misrepresent their age. While Roblox has age-based safety features, they only function when users accurately report their age. As a result, children and adults are often chatting, playing, and potentially exchanging more personal information than they should. And while under 13 users have restricted access to private messaging, the public chat function still allows communication with strangers. There was evidence of users attempting to share contact information and getting around Roblox's filters with clever spelling tricks. But perhaps the most concerning was that children may be exposed to adult content even without seeking it out. In games labeled only mild or minimal maturity ratings, avatars wearing fetish gear and lingerie acted out explicit scenes. These findings have further raised concerns over the safety of young users and whether the current systems go far enough.
Extremely disgusted at what I just found in the Roblox community. I started off in a roleplay server that was accessible from the main Roblox application. Didn't say anything about an age restriction. After joining that roleplay server, I received a direct message that told me to join this chat application. They say they do not allow anyone under the age of 18 to be in the server. The main Roblox application doesn't allow you to speak this way, but when you join these private communities, you can see horrible things like this. Here's another very strange server that's accessible directly from the Roblox homepage. If you were unaware like I was about these sub-communities that exist within a children's application or Roblox condos, I would look further into it, ask your children if they know what it is, and they need to know that it's okay, in my opinion, to tell you that stuff like this is happening. So stay safe.
Lately, everything online seems to signal an economic downturn. Lady Gaga's return to dance pop, blondes dyeing their hair brown, a surge in dinner parties. According to social media, they're all signs we're headed for a recession.
Katy Perry going to space. Flash mobs are back. Been making my own chia pudding. Gen Z's using Tumblr again. Finance bros are doing stand-up comedy. And then, related, stand-up comedians are looking for jobs in finance.
Alex Earl's bun at Coachella is a recession indicator. If you are wearing this in public, it's usually because you're trying to hide something. We are all hanging on by a thread financially, and this bun is the scissor that's gonna cut us all loose.
The outgrown roots on the platinum blonde hair. This trend was a direct result of the economical state of the world at the time. Prices went up, people had less money, much like now, and the girls who would previously get their roots touched up every 4 to 6 weeks didn't have money to do so, they let it grow out. Now, in 2025, being in a similar economical situation, I believe we will be seeing more and more trends like this, a reflection of how people use and spend and value their money. We can see that here on TikTok. Everyone is doing a low buy or no buy year.
Popularity of maxi skirts is up 393%.
Lipstick purchases skyrocket because people can't really indulge in those larger luxuries, so they indulge in the smaller things like lipstick. Corporate wear in general and minimalism are another trend that's a recession indicator. Because again, people aren't splurging on flashy clothing. We've walked into a store lately, these are what the clothes look like.
But there's one trend that's risen above the noise: food. Food has always meant more than just survival. It's been tied to celebration, community, and increasingly, status. In 2025, food has officially become a luxury flex.
With grocery prices rising in America, food, its abundance, its overconsumption, and its waste, we're going to become status symbols of the rich and the elite in America. This photo is screaming, it's one banana, Michael, what could it cost? $10? I went to a grocery store in my neighborhood the other day, and the eggs were $12.50 a carton, and they weren't even the fancy ones.
On social media, it's everywhere. Thanks to Thread Vibes hand-making elaborate meals from scratch, homemade is the new haute couture. Algorithms also feed us endless shots of dinner party prep, perfectly plated pastries, and artisanal grocery hauls. Luxury brands are paying attention, with shoppers cutting back on big-ticket purchases. Names like Prada, Dior, and Coach are leaning into edible indulgence, opening branded cafes. So, are we in a recession? Not quite. We've been bracing for one since 2023, but it hasn't landed. And JP Morgan puts the chances this year at just 35%.
When it comes to spotting a real recession, there are some actual, factual, measurable signs. Economists and analysts point to things like high inflation, falling stock markets, and rising unemployment. Other red flags include a drop in real GDP, a slowdown in business spending, and fewer home sales. Then there are the so-called recession indicators defined by the internet, like messy hair buns, dark roots, and dance pop hits making a comeback. Those telltale signs aren't exactly tracked by economists, but they're not far off the mark. These throwback trends might not signal an actual downturn, but they reflect something real, our shared anxiety about the future.
The total cost will be $1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us.
This was a snippet from almost everyone's For You page. Following Trump's tariffs on China, manufacturers began exposing luxury brands for making massive profits off low production costs. Now, the question is, will pulling back the curtain on their supply chains come at a cost?
This is actually insane. So, Chinese government has removed the confidentiality clause with luxury brands and Chinese manufacturers. So now what's happening is all the Chinese producers are coming out and they're telling the world that they make all the stuff that we think is luxury and pay an ultimate price for.
Do you recognize this style, this bag? Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton, you name it. But for this, I'm not proud because we were only making our wages. The profit margin for the people who are actually making the bags are very low.
As we're headed into a recession, people are kind of like locking up their purses, their pocketbook. And now that we have the knowledge that the difference between spending hundreds of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars on a bag is simply a stamp and repackaging, and the West's successful alienation of Chinese manufacturing by hammering it into our brains that made in China means like cheap and will fall apart quickly. Dupe culture was already running rampant. With this knowledge and OEMs being transparent about the kind of quality they can offer and telling you you can buy from us directly.
All I can say is, China, good on you. China, you've got game.
Get ready, we're learning how to be disappointed the right way. It's not exactly a hot topic, yet it's something we deal with every day. Disappointment can strike anytime, and it might just be a step towards growth. But don't worry, we're not here to hand out toxic positivity or tell you to just grin and bear it. Stick around, this video might actually make you feel better about feeling bad.
Today I'm going to teach you a skill that you should have been taught when you were a child but probably weren't. It's how to be disappointed. Disappointment is the feeling that arises when you don't get what you want or what you hoped for. It often comes along with a sense of powerlessness, anger or frustration, sadness and shame. The first thing that you need to do is allow yourself to feel this feeling and everything else that comes up. It hurts to be disappointed. It hurts when you don't get what you want or what you need. Give yourself the space to acknowledge that. Once you've done that, I want you to take 3 different lenses and use them to look at your disappointment. Lens 1 is curiosity. Where is your disappointment coming from? What can this disappointment tell you about your needs, your hopes, and your expectations? Lens 2 is compassion. Can you respond to everything that comes up within you with your own compassion? Can you remember that a disappointing outcome does not mean that you are bad or unworthy of good things? That's old happy talking. It just means that you're a human being who struggles like the rest of us. How can you extend your compassion to the broader situation too? And lens 3 is courage. What would it look like to take a brave step forward right now? Disappointment has a really sneaky way of making us want to give up on the things that matter to us, but you don't have to let it do that to you.
Katy Perry might be the first singer to kind of give a mini concert in space. Jeff Bezos' all-female Blue Origin crew safely completed a trip to the edge of outer space and back, launching from a private Texas ranch. Besides pop star Perry, who sang "What a Wonderful World" during the journey, Bezos' fiancée Lauren Sanchez was also among the crew. In just 11 minutes, the 6 women soared over 100 kilometers above Earth, past the official boundary of space, and got to float in zero gravity for a few minutes.
That's amazing.
Not everyone was impressed by Blue Origin's all-female crew. Some accused the mission of promoting fake feminism, calling it a celebration of elitism rather than progress.
I don't need to see Katy Perry go to space. I don't need to see one of the richest men in the world's fiancé go to space. Now, the women, astronauts who've worked their entire lives and careers to go to space, yeah, go to Jupiter. Love that for you, girl. But this is what the billionaires are spending their money on? In the theme of female empowerment? No. Do literally anything else with that money. You want to support female empowerment? How about you help support women out of poverty or out of domestically violent situations?
Fake feminists took to the sky and the rest of us continue to wonder why. Why was hair and makeup the focus of the flight prep? Why did the creative directors of Oscar de la Renta make your spacesuit? Why did we joke about putting corsets in the suits? You want to restrict your breathing to look skinny in space? Stupid. 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 Why were Khloe Kardashian and Kris Jenner in the crowd watching? Why are we kissing the ground upon return? Most importantly, why are we pretending that this is any kind of societal achievement? Space tourism will only be available to the mega rich. Stop trying to rebrand privilege as achievement because it's coming across worse than those clip-in bangs.
And that's our show. Find our latest stuff on YouTube and do subscribe to our channel. See you soon.